Let's have a look-see here. Okay. Just gearing up, everybody. Seeing who all is here. Alrighty. No, I don't need the sound on. I think I got everything. Okay. So, welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Joe, in case none of you all are familiar with my ramblings I've been going on with for the past couple months and whatnot. So, welcome to the show again. Today we're going to go over just a few simple things about the real estate exam. So there are many people out there that are either aspiring to be real estate agents, or they want to know exactly what is in the exam and things like that, just that way they know what they need to prepare for in order to pass the exam. First off, I'm going to start off with a few cute little anecdotes. So, start off, I have somewhat of, well, not somewhat, I do have experience with this, as my mom took the real estate exam back, oh gosh, I want to say back in 2015, 2016, something like that. So I got a little bit of experience as to how it is and how one studies for the exam and how stressful that can even be on anyone that's looking to go ahead and take that. Now, each and every state is different, so the test prep will be, it'll go over a lot of the major topics, but then there's also the state-specific sections within the exams themselves that you need to be conscious of. Your local association should be able to help out with any test prep in regards to that. What I will be going over today will mostly pertain to Florida as well as a national scale. So if you're in some place in Idaho or Wyoming or something like that, feel free to look up your local association and then let them know that you're looking for test prep that is relevant to your locale or essentially to your state. Again, your local association should be able to help with that. I will be going over the basics for the national part of the exam, or the general concepts, and then going forthwith from there. So feel free to share this with any of your friends that are looking into getting into real estate, and just that way they have a little bit of a heads up on what they can expect. So let's go ahead and go forward. My first recommendation for you or to anybody who's going to be taking any exam is to learn your learning style. So there's many different there's many different types of learning that are out there that people tend to gravitate towards. There's been the most popular ones, which they go as visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and no, it's three, I'm sorry. So those are the three most popular styles. I know there have been quite a few that have been added over the years, so feel free to look those up as they get a little bit more specific the more you look into your own style. I always thought I was more kinesthetic and visual more than anything else, but turns out I'm more experiential than anything else. So if you show me exactly how it's done and I happen to follow along with it, then that usually works best for me, and also writing things down. Otherwise, I will just sit there and then have this expression on my face. And then proceed forthwith to go to sleep. So again, learn your style and utilize that. In my past as an ESL teacher, for anybody that doesn't know that, yes, I did used to teach a little bit. What I figured out was that rote memorization as well as direct translation did not work out well for my previous students. What worked best, and what was also most frustrating to them as well, was to have them figure out exactly what I was trying to say. So, and this actually helped me out when I was learning Spanish too. It frustrated the hey out of me when I was with my Spanish teacher, when I was down in Argentina, and she would often say, like, in Spanish, like, ¿qué es eso? Okay. And it's like, and then, but she would just keep going on it. She would not tell me exactly what a word was, and I had to figure that out for myself. So that maybe that's a method that is more pertaining to your style, is something where you just go on reading, or maybe have someone speak to you in real estate and just see exactly what you can glean from those terms yourself. Sometimes the best way to learn is through experience, or putting yourself through the fire, so to say. So Here are a few recommendations that I would say to go ahead and use for studying. I actually asked this in one of the real estate groups on Facebook, how people studied or how they prepared for the exam themselves. A lot of times people chose with the more traditional approaches like flashcards, books, or even some websites, but a new one that I saw was that people were actually using apps to study for them. So they were using their phone or even using their iPad, for example, to go ahead and scroll through the questions. I remember when my mother actually, when she was studying for the real estate exam, she was actually using a similar app to this back in the day. I can't remember what it was for the life of me, but I remember she would be going through her iPad program or iPad apps and just going, oh, okay, so they were almost functioned like a book / flashcards. So that may be something you want to look into. Although a lot of people in the group, I don't know if they were just trolling or what, but a lot of them did say that they didn't really study it or that they drank copious amounts of alcohol the night before the exam, which I wasn't aware. We were back in college, so I guess that's news to me. I don't recommend alcoholism the night before. I really don't think it's a good strategy, and honestly, it helps you forget a lot of things and probably really useful things, so not my best recommendation. But here are a few different examples that you can use. Say, for example, one of those apps that I was just talking about. So if we go ahead and take a look at this, I found this one on the Google Play Store. Now you could probably find this on any place that you can find apps. Was the Real Estate License Prep 2019 edition. Now this holds a lot of different things to help you learn. It's got a myriad of different questions, instant explanations, and then learning from your mistakes, which I find to be very useful to actually learning the material itself. Because if you just learn the rote memorization, you're not going to be able to make the connections to real life. And I know that in my own experience, those real connections to whatever's going on in life helps me to better understand it. Maybe that's why calculus didn't work out so well for me, was because I didn't understand its real world applications. Plus, I don't know when I would ever need to know what angle the tree shadow was at approximately 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I never really saw the point in that. This app right here is just one good example. Let's see, no, these are all other programs. So keep apps in mind, go looking for them, but make sure to read the reviews too. You don't want to end up with something that is less than stellar. This right over here, almost 5 stars, almost 1,400 reviews. It's got a lot going for it. Might want to think about downloading that. So other tools that you might want to use for prepping for the real estate exam would be other websites that you can use. So say, for example, over here, a lot of the agents that I asked recommended Prep Agent, real estate exam prep for their own exam preparations. This actually, I checked it out a little bit. It's very comprehensive. It has a lot of information, and it has free things to go along with it. So it's not necessary for you to pay for everything. It's more just kind of like, hey, here's other different things we really want you to pass. The articles over here I wasn't exactly too impressed with, but I guess that's just, that shouldn't really matter all that much, because you get all this, you get the free practice exam. I believe they have the flashcards that go along with it. See, you got the different questions over here. They can tell you whether you're wrong or you're right. I don't even know the answer to this. Primary purpose of truth in lending is to disclose. I'm not sure. Let's see if I got that right. Intended to do away with deceptive tactics. Oh, okay, so I got that right. Yay! I want someone to bring me a cookie. So yeah, like I said, it's got a whole lot of different things. You got the flashcards here, you got live webinars, you got the audio sessions, the videos, practice questions. This site is very comprehensive. To me, it looks like it's the best way to go. And they give you a money back guarantee, which, I mean, how can you refuse that? So that's just one thing that I saw that would be able to help you out in terms of your research of going into the real estate exam. Over here, I found a few real estate flashcards that are free for you to use. They got a whole bunch of different things. This is on FitSmall.com. They got the terminology, they got glossary terms, they have a whole bunch of different other things. This is mostly from other people that are just like you, that are in the same exact boat. They are putting their flashcards out there for you to use, so you don't have to sit there and write them all out. If you don't want to write them all out, then this might be for you. But for other people, writing them out is just part of the process of studying. So again, you have to know your learning style and then go from there. I'm just showing you this in case you'd rather just print them out and get going. Again, really comprehensive. Let's see here. So another person recommended Dearborn Real Estate Education. Now these people, you got a little bit of a price tag to them, which, you know, is not the best, but they have the print textbooks, they have the ebooks, they have the flashcards, audio and CDs, and all of that stuff. So again, this site works as well. You could choose to be online. You can choose to do any of these other things. They got all this going on for it, so it might be worth your attention at some point in time. For any other practice exams that you would be interested in taking, the Pearson VUE, one of the premier purveyors of testing venues, I should say, is to go ahead and figure out exactly what it is that they want to see. These are going to be the people that you're going to be signing up with in order to take the exam. So it might be worth it to go ahead and put the $20 up just to see what exactly it is that they're asking for. A lot of these sites, they can go ahead and get you prepped up for the real thing, but it might be wise to, again, pay that $20, see exactly what it is that they want, and then go from there. That's the best way to become well-rounded before you go in to tackle the exam. If you're actually looking for other exam prep providers, there's the Real Estate Exam Scholar. That one actually works out. I checked it out. It's pretty legit. Yeah, so I think, no, that's PR Agent, my bad. So these guys I actually checked out as well. So let's see, $29, all 50 states. And they also have a money back guarantee, which could count well for you as well. You have over 1,200 different practice 1,200 practice questions, 25 practice exams, and they also give you 6 months to prep for that exam in the first place, or if you fail it once, which they brag that you're going to pass the first time, but I think that's because they give you 6 months to take however many practice exams you want. Make sure that you know pretty much everything from head to toe, and I don't even know why you would need that much, but it's a little bit, to me it seems a little bit overkill. But if you're really wanting to pass this exam as well as be the best agent that you can be, then it might be wise for you to take this one instead of some of these other courses. Let's go ahead and, because you can read this all later, I will go ahead and post these links in the blog post that I will come out with either later today or sometime tomorrow. Real Estate Express has been insurmountably helpful to me in terms of my own research. Their articles are beyond amazing at this point. They're awesome. So they have a lot of information that they put out there for new agents and experienced agents alike to have that reserve of knowledge, which you can carry over into real world applications. These people, I mean, I've cited them on more articles and linked to them on any of my blog posts because these people know how to get your career started in real estate. And that's what their primary purpose is to get people started into real estate. So there's those people. Those are the two that I would recommend to use. Brightwood, I didn't really look into them. There's Prep Agent. Okay, so a lot of people actually recommended Prep Agent. A lot of people in the Facebook groups, they acknowledge the fact that Prep Agent has been insurmountably useful. But it's not only because of their platform that they're using, but also because they are very prominent on YouTube. So let's go ahead and click over to that. So over on YouTube, you have this guy over here that pretty much tells you in basic terms what any of the vocab is, or certain situations that would spur any event that you might come into. So this guy goes ahead and details everything for you and makes sure that you know exactly what it is in a video format. So should you be a more visual learner, this could be insurmountably helpful to you. Again, a lot of people recommended him, or a lot of people recommended this guy, so his website is pretty much on par with that as well. Let's go back to here. So by the way, I ripped this off of FitSmallBusiness.com for anybody that's curious. They went ahead and did a lot of the comparing and contrasting with the people that are pretty good. Let's see here. So suppose already that you have, oh wait, hold on. So real estate exam scholar. Oh, here we go, Cram.com. A lot of people also recommended Cram.com. Now, one of the tactics that I would recommend that you don't do is to go ahead and cram for the exam the night before. A lot of people think that this actually helps to stuff the brain full of knowledge and that it'll actually work for them in the long run. Newsflash. Back in the, I want to say it was either the late 2000s or something along those lines, where I think Harvard came out with a study that detailed the fact that cramming does not work. And in fact, it actually lowered a lot of students' test scores the more that they crammed the night before. Now, cramming 2 or 3 days before, that would work out well in your favor. And in fact, they saw positive results because of that. But there were actually a lot of people who thought that cramming the night before would work out well in their favor. This is not true. It is, I can pretty much debunk it. I can go ahead and put a link to the study in the blog post I will come out with later today. So don't do it. Circling back now. The Cram.com, again, they have the flashcards, they have a memorization, they have the tests, they got a whole bunch of things going on this site. Again, a lot of people recommended it, and yeah, so here you go with all the other terms with that you can go ahead and do the flashcards with, should that be part of your style. Oh, excuse me. Real Estate Express, I already went over these guys. It's not the cheapest program, but it's a lot less than some other places which charge upward of $100 for a prep course. Let's see here. I also found this other exam, practice exam, which has about 100 questions on it that you can use as well, just in terms of rounding out your efforts. And so there is actually a few different tactics that I would love to talk to you about. And the thing about it is that in order for you to pass the exam, you have to be smart about it. Because if you're not smart about it, if you do a number of ridiculous things that are not going to help you, well, you're not going to pass, unlike some of these other people that you find on the Facebook groups that go like, oh, I drank copious amounts of alcohol. Again, I don't think that's a very good strategy, but you know what? You do you work for you. You do what you want to do. But just a few things I remember back in my days when I was taking standardized tests and whatnot were that, oh shoot, I forgot. On the apps thing for real estate preparations, there was actually another app out there that was recommended, and it was Real Estate for Dummies. I'm pretty sure, I'm not saying you all are dummies because that's not the truth. So Real Estate for Dummies would be one other app and a book that was recommended to go ahead and use in your own efforts. I personally love the For Dummies series. I got a few of them for different programming languages and different odds and ends of interesting subjects I read in my spare time. So that might be something also that would be best used for you as well. It puts everything in layman's terms, and it makes sure that you understand things from not just a jargon viewpoint, but more towards what you would be anticipating for the exam. Going back now to tactics, sorry about that. So a few things is to have a strategy. Yes, test taking, it can be a strategy, and for anybody out there that does not do well on tests, you can resonate with that. There are plenty of students out there that were marvelous when it came down to the homework, the schoolwork, and things like that, but when it came down to tests, anxiety hit them like a brick. If that's you, well, know this. It's mostly you're thinking about what's going to happen afterwards. It's best to not, I know I'm saying don't think about it, but I mean, it's focus your efforts on something else. Focus your efforts on that test. It's best to think about what's going on right then and right now. Another tangent. So, but have a strategy. Go through the test first. go ahead and flip through and see what exactly that it is. I remember back from my ACT and SAT days were that the harder questions were going to be more dotted in the back. There wasn't really any of the hard questions that were going to be up front first. So it might be best for you to see, okay, which ones might give me problems later. You don't need to peruse them. You just need to glean over. You just need to look at them just really quick and then just see, okay, what am I going to be looking for? And then after you do that, go ahead and start. Go ahead and start with the easy questions. If you get stuck on one question, do not just sit there and stare at it. First off, you're going to be missing the rest of the questions that you could answer just after that one little question. So do you really want to miss out on the rest of the answers all just because of one other question? You can finish it later. Just go ahead and circle it, write down the number that it was, and then just move on. You got to keep moving and answer as many questions as you can. Should you have enough time after you finish the exam, then go ahead and spend however much amount of time you want to spend before the clock runs out, because then you have a majority of the questions answered and then you can carry on with your life. So again, start with the easy ones first, get those knocked out, and then get to the harder questions at the very last thing. Let's see. Know a trick question when you see one. Now, a lot of times what I remember from my own test prep days was that a lot of the questions were going to have some extremist language. And by that, I mean that they were going to be using the words like always or never or something along those lines. That type of extremity is, it's a signal that well, technically that's not the right answer. So in a lot of cases, here's the thing, is that nothing is always and nothing is never. Never say never, that whole paradoxical thing. So just keep that in mind, is that a lot of these things will use that kind of extreme language in order to throw you off track. So last thing that I would want to say is that actually it's kind of interesting that I mention all this, because one of our own over here actually is a part-time instructor. And what are you doing? A lot of our I'm sorry. One of our associates over here, she's actually an instructor. She also had her own marketing business for 15 years, so she's a wealth of information. Usually she holds events on all that. I can go ahead and link to her in the blog post I will be shipping out later. So she actually just had an event yesterday about the 15 different tactics that you can use in 2019 for your marketing business. So she knows how to relay that information to people and make sense of it, and not just have it to where it's jargon or it's just simply a one-dimensional thing that she only understands. She's really good at doing that type of information. I'll put her name in the comments. So that's just few of the different things I would recommend to go ahead and do to prepare yourself for the real estate exam, all the new agents or would-be agents out there. And if you have any questions, please feel free to write down in the comments, whatever it is, and I can be sure that someone gets a hold of it appropriately. So thank you all for stopping by. I hope to see you next week.